Okay, so the vandas that I have before you are absolutely atrocious. I mean, very hideous to even look at. And I purchased these today. And folks, to be honest with you, I'm sure there's many of you that actually wouldn't even take these orchids for free once I give you a close-up on exactly what conditions these orchids are in. So let's waste no time. Let's go ahead and take a close look. Okay, so taking a close look at these leaves, you will note that they are very wilted. They're very dehydrated. I mean, you can run your fingers across them and they feel like dry cardboard, and you can literally hear your fingers running across them because they are so dry. What you're also noticing are the leaves are starting to really close up, and they should not be like that. They should be opened up, very healthy, very firm, and this is very flimsy, very papery. And you're even beginning to note on some of these, they're starting to really fade into a yellow. And of course the yellow, once they turn that color, that means they are about to fall off. So you're beginning to notice that these leaves are greenish yellowish. They're, I would say, about maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most, but yeah, they're about to lose all of these leaves. Now, giving you a closer up look, you definitely can really see the wilting going on. Look how flimsy these leaves are. Yeah, pretty bad shape. Also in this one as well. I mean, they're like the walking dead of orchids right now. I mean, they're going through the motions, but they're not really alive at all. Okay, they're being like totally tortured. Okay, so now we see the look of their leaves. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the root system. Okay, so this little fella right here is absolutely atrocious in its roots. Yeah, these are all brittle. I mean, they could just crack right now and split and break. These are completely gone. There's nothing you can do with these. And you can see it's really throughout. Just really horribly dehydrated right here. And these one right here, they're just one grade above that, I guess you can say. But their roots are not good as well. But one thing that I do want to tell you guys is that if you see an orchid and it still has good green foliage, and I say good in the aspect of you can still see a great portion of it that's green, no matter if it's yellowing, no matter if it's wilting, and even if you see the roots that really appear to be quite goners, like you really can't do that much with them. There are certain orchids that, wow, they have such a recovery potential. They have such a way of really bouncing back once they start getting the treatment and the care that they need. And I want to show you exactly how much root in here that's really able to survive. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're just giving this a good spray down, trying to see how much of the root system is still alive and perhaps able to assist this plant in getting right back to normal. Okay, so now that we've sprayed them down completely, we can begin to see what we're really working with. And we can separate the dead roots from the live roots. And one thing to note about the Vanda orchid is that just as long as it has 3 decent root systems, that's really a good rule of thumb to know that, yeah, it does have a good chance of surviving. So now you're beginning to see more of the roots that are alive by seeing the green that is beginning to come from what used to be the white root portion. And even right here, you are noting a new growth of root coming out. So in this case, is it able to survive? Indeed, I think it is. And even with this one right here. Yes, does it have enough root system? Yes, I think it does. And the leaves, is it green enough? Although it looks as if it's about to croak at any time. Yes, this too can survive. So with all of the orchids that I've shown you and as bad of condition as they are, indeed, if you take good care of them, they can bounce back into what you are seeing now. Beautiful, amazing vandas with a very, very healthy root system. And folks, if I remain dedicated to getting these orchids to survive, bounce back, and then thrive, indeed, I can do it, and I have done it several times. I actually have a deep dehydration method that I use to rescue orchids that have been severely damaged through dehydration, and I actually have that in another video, and I'll post that link below too, so you'll have that as well. And that dehydration method I've actually used for my cattleyas, I've also used for encyclias and epidendriums, and also I've used it for my maxillaria as well. So indeed it works, and now you're going to see me use it on these vandas. So definitely, again, if you haven't checked out that video, that dehydration method video, be sure to do that because indeed it does work. Okay folks, so I wanted to show you another vanda that I actually got from the same store, and I've been taking good care of it, and it's very, very happy in my garden. Definitely want to show you the difference of what a healthy orchid is and what an unhealthy orchid is. Unhealthy orchid, very healthy orchid. Unhealthy orchid, again, very healthy orchid. Unhealthy root system, very healthy root system. And here we are folks, we're going to go ahead and start the deep hydration method on these, and definitely stay tuned as I update you on their progress. And with the right love and passion and dedication to my vandas that I just recently purchased, I know that I can get them bouncing back and looking just like these vandas that I have right here. So definitely, we can do it, and we will do it. If there is a will, there indeed is a way. Okay folks, so this is an update on our rescue vandas that we decided to do a deep hydration method on them in order to try and rescue them. So it's been about a week since we started, and just to recap on the process of the deep hydration method, what we did here is the first night we went ahead and soaked her, totally submerging her roots for the entire night. And for 3 days afterwards, we went ahead and soaked her 3 times a day for about 30 minutes each time. Then after that, what I went ahead and did is I reintroduced her back into my garden, acclimating her back into the temperatures and conditions of the outdoors. Now, since that time, I have been watering her on a regular basis, but I have no longer been soaking her, except for right now, because I am actually about to cut the dead roots off of her, and I definitely wanted to make sure that I could see exactly which roots were salvageable and of course which roots were not. So that is why I am soaking her right now. But again, she is good to go. She no longer needs the soaking. I just keep her in my garden now, and I allow her regular temperatures, and she's getting watered, misted, I would say about 3 times a day. Okay folks, so if you guys remember when I first got these orchids, they were in horrific shape. I mean, I can tell you that these vandas were on their last legs. I would say they would have lasted no more than 3 days to a week, and they would have been completely kaput, kapui. They would have been goners. Okay, so now looking at these leaves, you are noticing that they have really maintained their color. And of course, that is absolutely good news, because if they had started turning yellow and then brownish, of course, you would know that the leaves were about to fall off. And once all of the leaves fall off, you might as well say bye-bye, because story is over. There is no continuation and the saga does not continue. So definitely good news that they maintained their color. One of the main things that I noticed when I first got them also was all of their leaves were shut completely tight. Okay, so when you have an orchid that is dehydrating, and again on their last legs, especially with these Vandas, what you will notice as a last resort for them to try to maintain any moisture that they have left, they will shut their leaves so tight. And that's exactly what these Vandas did. So after I've done the hydration method, I want to show you that the Vandas indeed have started opening up. And this one right here is actually in the best condition. She's doing very well. All of her leaves are now beginning to open. So she's good to go. She's a happy camper and she'll be just fine. Now I also have this one right here. And you're also noticing that the leaves are beginning to open as well. Now she does have one leaf down here that's yellowing, but that's quite alright. It's a bottom leaf, and that's normally a process that it's going to go through anywho. Now this particular Vanda right here, I have to say, is the one that is in the worst condition, because as you can see, the leaves are still pretty much closed up. But if you look, she is beginning to open up. She's starting to show signs that she's coming out of her shell as well. So I have to definitely keep watering her and taking good care of her, and she's going to bounce right back. She'll be fine as well, guys. And I also want to give you guys a close-up on the outside of the leaves. As you are seeing, you're still noticing some wrinkling in the leaves, but I will say that the leaves have gotten so much better than when I first received her. This one right here in the center, and this is the one that's doing the absolute best, you are hardly noticing the wrinkles now. I mean, she's doing extremely well for the short amount of time that I've been using the dehydration method. And also this one right here, you're still noticing some wrinkling, but you know, it's a part of the process. As she goes on further, you'll start seeing less and less wrinkling, and I definitely have faith that all of these Vandas right here will be just fine. Okay folks, so these are the roots that were absolutely not salvageable, and of course I cut them all off. There's no reason to keep these on any longer. They're not going to promote any type of root growth. I mean, these were completely gone. Now of course there are some instances where they show on the plant as a root that doesn't look so good, but then sometimes they will grow an offshoot of good roots. But I'm telling you folks, I checked these ones and these were no good. These were completely dead, okay? And if you look at the plant, they're not so big. I mean, they're tiny Vandas, you know? So for this amount of root system, wow, that's a whole lot of roots for these little guys to have removed from them. But the good news is, if we look in here, you are seeing a decent amount of good roots. And of course, you know, at least 2 to 3 good roots and your plants should be good. So they have enough root system to sustain themselves until of course they grow more roots. So folks, they're good to go. And since they're okay and they are good to go to be back in my garden, of course I'm not going to give them too much of bright light. I'm going to keep them in bright shade. I'm going to go ahead and have them now arranged in how I will have them hanging in my garden. So I'll be right back to show you how I will have these displayed. Okay folks, and here they are now. This is how I am going to display them. These are my Rescue Vandas. And I don't know about you, but it looks like they're having a good time on their Vanda carousel. Whee! So what I did here, folks, is I took those hooks that you purchase at the store, where they're used to really hang up hanging containers and hanging pots. But in this case, I took each individual wire and I just maneuvered it around the pot where they can hold them up. And again, these Vandas aren't so big, so it was very easy to put them together in this manner. And they're going to stay together for quite a little while on this magical merry-go-round. And we will watch them as they recover and they grow. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another orchid adventure, in which today we have saved 3 marvelous Vandas. Whee!